bit about this album. What were you guys hoping to try and achieve with this album?
I guess I'll start from like a bass perspective, then Jerome can add his drumming to it. But just from like the last 5 years of doing this band, like our previous 3 EPs that we've done, we've kind of been like just, I guess, trial and erroring what we want the band to be, and just how we write music, how we are as musicians and all that. And getting to like 3 EPs deep, we're like, yeah, we want to do a full length, and we felt like we'd found our, I guess, like identity in what we want to do with the bass. So we just got to writing. I guess what turned out was something that we're all very happy with, especially from the bass perspective.
Yeah. So Jerome, tell us a little bit about that experimentation that you guys have been going with over the years, trying to find that right sound that was perfect for you guys.
Yeah, for me it was just I mostly focus on the drum side of things, but like especially writing drums to 2 basses when I first joined, it was very different. Like I had to worry about more stuff, pretty much. Yeah.
So Matt, tell us a little bit about the writing process for this album. What was that process like? How long did it take you guys to sit down and work on the tracks that we actually hear on this album now?
Yeah, so for the writing process, it was probably about 2 years from ideas to the table. Like we've kind of found that when we're like alone, we kind of create our like skeleton to a song kind of thing. And like the writing for this album's been like very 50-50 for the ideas being brought to the table. And like this album's one of the more collaborative efforts as well compared to previous releases, which has made for a stronger release as well. But back to the writing, so we'll both kind of bring these ideas forward, and we'll demo them, and we'll like restructure them with all 3 of us, kind of adding our own flavors to each track. So that's probably been a big difference compared to previous releases. So then once,
go ahead.
So then once we got like the songwriting down, then it went to the more so like adding the synth layers to it, which we did with a few external people plus ourselves working with them. Obviously sitting down with Jerome and like, after he'd written his drums, kind of like tweaking it to what like we all thought was the strongest drum beats and bass lines and everything kind of intertwining together for the record. And then obviously went on to then record it and then which is another story as well. But yeah.
So Matt, just continuing on with the writing, the fact that the writing process took 2 years, did that mean that there were a lot more inspirations and themes coming through for you as well in that songwriting process?
Yeah, like, I guess, like, the more we've, like, played shows and the more other musicians you meet, and we each, me and Toby, and also Jerome, for his side of the band, like, we all have our own very individual inspirations and things we like with music, so we definitely bring differences to the band, which, like, I guess helps with the diversity of it.
Now, Jerome, tell us a little bit about the recording process, because of course you guys would have been trying to record this while we were in and out of lockdowns. What was that like, actually getting to record this album and facing those kinds of problems?
Yeah, it was, well, honestly amazing how we got it done on time with the timeline that we planned out originally. And yeah, like what drums was like 12 days in November of last year, and it was like the going was like sort of like it was like stage 4 lockdown, but it was like you could still do things that needed to be done by a deadline, and just like sort of stressing me out about if you can do it. But yeah, it all worked out luckily. So we got the drums done in November, then bassist took 3 months before that, I think. So yeah.
Awesome. So Matt, tell us a little bit more about that recording process as well, because of course you guys worked with people like Adam, and so what was it like, working with people like Adam on this when you were going through such a weird time with everything out there with the pandemic?
Yeah, I guess like I could talk about this for ages or for a short amount of time. I guess starting from like the beginning, it really almost had to be just me and Toby doing the basses. Like if Jerome came, it was then like illegal. So it was almost like a missing part of the band almost at every stage of the recording, which was unfortunate. But I guess that's what we had to do. And we're grateful we were able to get it done. And then once all the instruments were recorded and we were ready to mix, Adam plays for Archeco, so he's in America. So I guess the way we would have mixed it would be the same way anyway, luckily, which was just over like Facebook calls and like different sorts of audio exporting and all that kind of stuff. So he put a lot of effort into mixing this, like hours upon hours upon hours, like just like our tweaking, because we're like very, very particular with what we want, all three of us. So yeah, like I'm so grateful for how much effort Adam put into making it sound how we envision it as well.
Matt, Jerome mentioned there also about having to go to timelines. Did you feel a little bit stressed out at that time when you knew that you had those timelines there, but with lockdowns and things getting in the way, they were starting to stretch out?
Yeah, I say infuriating is probably the best word for it. Like we got extremely lucky with the drum recording because I think lockdown lifted about a day before we started doing the drums. So we got like, and then yeah, so we were actually able to put the drums down before it went to like any extended sort of lockdowns. So yeah, and with the basses, like we just had to do it individually, kind of. I think it was like you could see one person at a time or something, so luckily able to get that done. But yeah, there was a point where I don't think we saw Jerome for like 5 or 6 months. Like it was pretty crazy.
Jerome, you also had a guest come in on this album as well with Clay for one track. Tell us a little bit about why you guys chose Clay to work with and what he was like to work with.
That's probably the better one to answer this, honestly, because I really like I knew we were gonna have a guest solo, but like yeah, Matt.
I guess coming from the bassist perspective.
Yeah,
with the bassist joining. We just had a spot in a track that like we didn't have plans initially to get a guest artist on, but it's sort of like the way we all collaboratively worked on this track. It kind of like paved its way to this section where we could have written something, but we thought it would be a lot like sicker to go in like this completely new direction that someone else's input would have on it. And like all three of us have enjoyed Polyphia for years. Like they're definitely like instrumental, I guess, like lords of what they do. They've been doing it for a few years and kind of changing their sound all the time as well, which is awesome to look at. So we just kind of hit Clay up and was like, "Do you be interested in this?" And like he actually knew about us, which was kind of surreal as well. He was like, "Yeah, dude, like I'm down," and to do the videos as well, as you can see in the music video. So he was very simple to work with, and Jerome like worked some like drum beats around what he did as well. So like it all kind of pieced into this really cool vibe change within the song.
Awesome. Now, Jerome, how excited are you guys about everything opening back up again so you can go out and do shows, but especially how excited are you about being able to play at Uncaged?
Oh, over the moon, honestly. I think all of our first festivals, like, to be playing. I guess we played one the year before that, in Dead of Winter in Brisbane. But yeah, over the moon, like, the fact we'll be able to actually play shows and close enough off the back of the album release, which is just pretty much lines up perfectly, honestly.
Yeah. Matt, also, I know that a lot of bands have been doing it tough because you guys haven't been able to play live shows. How can your fans support you at the moment, aside from buying the album? Is there a lot of merchandise and stuff that people can go and grab as well to help you guys out at the moment?
Yeah, so with the release of the record, there's like our merch bundles, obviously the music. You said not streaming, but yeah, obviously the streaming's part of it. Any like sales for the CDs and all that, and like we're doing a I don't know if we've like officially announced this yet, but we're doing some sort of like pre-recorded live stream at some point, which is exciting as well. Like it's like the next best thing for a gig. So like we've got things to do, and like there's like promoting the record and things we can do at home, which isn't as fun as playing gigs, but we're making do.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're about to play Fountainhead on our show again right now to celebrate the release of the album. But is there anything that you would both like to say to our listeners out there before they go out and grab a copy of the album? We'll start with you, Jerome, and then we'll get your thoughts too, Matt.
Just, I don't know. I'm just wondering. You get that first.
Just like any sales before Thursday at midnight really help us for any ARIA charting. So if you're thinking about buying the record, then get on it before then. We'd really appreciate that as a band, all three of us.
Awesome.
Stay basic.
Guys, I just want to say again, congratulations on this album, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I cannot wait to come along and see you guys at Uncaged. So, again, congratulations on everything that's been going on.
Thank you.